with enough of us beginning to have access to this information and actually starting to use it in our lives, we could actually create a reality beyond transactional reality, at least for the people that are willing to have it. And this is the other thing you have to look at, is looking from this place will tell you what people are willing to have and what they're not. And that can be an amazing gift. So in that, when I started asking what is their projection and expectation of what's going to occur, I could see that there were certain women that I still to this day think are extremely amazing people, that if we got together and we went out and it led to sex, would be expecting me to then be their next relationship. And see, in that moment, then I've got choice. And this is what I would like us all to get to, is the clarity that gives you choice, the awareness that actually leads you to the awareness that now you have choice. Now that you know what their transactional reality is, now what would you like to choose? And that is the gift that you get from looking from this place and recognizing that almost everybody is doing transaction and transactional and being transactional almost all the time. And then what's really funny is we'll meet somebody who's not being transactional and we're really surprised. We're like, wait a minute, why are you doing this? Oh, just because it's fun. Wait a minute, but what are you getting out of it? I don't know, it's fun. And you're like, where did you come from? What non-transactional planet did you come from? So it's a matter of allowing ourselves to get awareness. So if I asked you to think about a relationship that you had and look at what were your projections and expectations? What were their projections and expectations? What was your idea of the transaction you were entering into and how that was to be fulfilled? Another aspect of it. And what was their idea of the transaction you were both entering into and how that was to be fulfilled? Can you see that almost nobody has the same projections and expectations? I would like to live in a world in which we didn't have projections and expectations. One of the only people I know that doesn't do that is my best friend Gary, the founder of Access Consciousness. He's one of the only people I know that doesn't function from projections and expectations of what people will be, what people will do, even for people that we hire for our business. We do not do projections and expectations about what they will do. We give them a list of several things, or we know some of the things that they have been good at in the past and that they like to do, because for us, we're never going to make somebody do a job they don't like to do. Why? That's torture, number one. But number two, the product that gets created is not very fun for anybody. It's not nearly as good as what could occur if we have them work on something that they're really great at and really love themselves. So for so many reasons, it's just a win-win. But what we'll do is we'll say, I have these 10 things that I need done. Which of those would be fun for you? And which of those would be easy for you? Pick 3. And they'll go this plus this plus this. It's like, okay, cool. So we're going to try this out for a few months. Go for it. See you later. And so we have a bunch of independent contractors around the world. We call them our conglomeration of idiots. I am idiot number 2. And because I'm an idiot too, trust me. And then we don't expect that they're going to produce. We see what they produce. Based on them interacting with that job, based on them interacting with what else they find along the way that they might be able to add to it, or based on them finding, wow, you know what? You hired me for social media, but I like accounting a lot more. Cool. Well, we just happen to have a need in that area too. So let's move you over here, right? So the idea in transactional reality is if you don't live up to the person's transactional expectations and projections of you, then your relationship doesn't work. You're bad and wrong. But from a non-transactional point of view, everything gets to be fluid and gets to stay in the question, and wrongness never enters into it. And let's look at this. It's primarily our projections and our expectations of people and what they will do and what they won't do and what we project and expect that they should do that creates our disappointment, creates our judgment of them, our judgment of us, like I talked about before. That's where we get into the separation, judgment, and rejection. And by the way, another really great tool can be every single day for especially the big things in your life, like job, family, particular relationships. Every single day you want to go, I now destroy and uncreate all of my projections, expectations, separations, judgments, and rejections. And you could take the whole thing all at once, okay? And of myself, Pock and Pod, and all of their projections, expectations, separations, judgments, and rejections, Pock and Pod. So that you're starting clear. You're starting without that burden of prior projection and expectation. And it's also a great thing to do in relationship with your partner is you want to Pock and Pod all the projections, expectations, separations, judgments, and rejections you have of them and that they have of you every single day. That way the walls of judgment don't build up and separate you, which is what occurs in most relationships.